the title of this session was More Open Houses. And one of the places that I like to start, and I'm recording this and it's going to be on my YouTube channel and all of that good stuff, but one of the places that I would like to start is how to find an open house to do. And so, I'm going to pick, since Jennifer is here, we're going to pick on Jennifer. And so my login will look different than your login for the MLS at the beginning, but that's just the way it is. So I've logged into the MLS, and we're going to go to Matrix Live. And if you've not done this before, then there will be some, we're going to go to Search Residential. And down at the bottom, oh, this is good because Jennifer hasn't done it yet. So at the bottom of Search Residential, you're going to see a section that says Additional Fields Add and Remove. And what you're going to want to do, now she's already added the field, but I was wrong when I said she hadn't done it. I apologize for casting asparagus. But what you're going to want to do, if you've not done this before, is click on Add and Remove. And this gives you the laundry list of all the different fields that you can add and remove. And the one that we're really interested in is the listing office broker code. And on the list, no, she's already done this, so we're not going to do it again, but you want to add the listing office broker code. So we've added a field called the listing office broker code, and then when you add fields, they'll appear down at the bottom. Right, so Jennifer's added garage parking. There's a whole bunch of ones. Some agents who, and I do not recommend this, if you're interested in disc profiles, this would be something that a person we would call a feed. Some agents have gone and added every single field to the bottom with the idea that maybe I might want to search for them. Like this is like, I haven't counted them recently, but the last time I did, there's 135 fields. I must have some high CE because I actually counted them up. So I would add them as you need them, but there's a whole bunch of different useful fields. But right now, the listing broker code, KWSV, is the code for Keller Williams of Silicon Valley, and that includes two offices. This office and the office in San Jose, also known as the Gateway office, comma, KWSC, and KWSC is for the office in Santa Cruz. Now, our broker, this is a little bit technical and complicated, but the broker is really a corporation and a person, right? So there's a corporation called the Silicon Valley Real Estate Group, and there are three corporations, one of them for Campbell, one of them for Gateway, and one of them for Santa Cruz. So they have three different broker license numbers, but two of them share the same broker code for the multiple listing service. So what that means is, I'm just saying this because this will come up, if you're having a transaction with Gateway or Santa Cruz, we are not a dual agent, because they have their own broker license number. However, having said all that, the person who's the designated broker for all three offices is the same person that's Mike Sibilia. So you would see him at all three offices if you hung out long enough. And his license is what our corporate licenses are based on, and basically the rule is that you can only do open houses for one of his offices. In other words, you're not supposed to be doing an open house for the Keller Williams Palo Alto, or for Coldwell Banker, or for Antero, and that's for legal liability purposes.
And
all of them, just our three offices, right? And that's KWSV and KWSC. KWSC is Santa Cruz, same broker. You went there and sat long enough, you see Michael Sibilia walk into the office. If you had a transaction issue in Santa Cruz, you'd be talking with Michael Sibilia. So those are the offices that you can do open houses for. So we've identified them, And now if we go up to active, it's going to show us all of the active listings from the 3 offices. There's 28. Everybody following me? I click on active. There's 28 active listings at the 3 offices. Now, some of these are all over the place, right? And there are some agents who say, I do not want to drive to Santa Cruz to do an open house. There are agents that say, I like Santa Cruz. I wouldn't mind going to Santa Cruz to do an open house. So if you just left it blank, then we have listings, by the way, that are far, far away from here. So if, good morning. Hi. I guess I didn't think of it. Anyhow, so, I don't know. Okay, so anyhow, so what we've done is we've identified the 2 brokers. So if you're fussy about where you're willing to do an open house, go up to county and type in, let's say, SCC, Santa Clara County. Right? If you're saying, well, I don't mind doing San Mateo County, that's SMC, San Mateo County. If you say, I don't care, I do Santa Cruz County, type in Santa and you could find Cruz and you could put in Santa Cruz County too. Right? But let's just say you're interested, most people are interested in Santa Clara County. Why don't we just do this as a, for instance? All right.
What is Santa Cruz County again?
I don't know, you type in Santa Cruz and it says Santa Cruz County. Right. So, Santa Cruz is SVC. CDC. This is something, there's a drop-down list here. You can click on it and it'll give you an explanation of what all of the counties are. Right. So, anyhow. By the way, one of the things that I would suggest that you do is you spend some time learning how to use the multiple listing system. So we've now identified that there are 10 active listings right now in Santa Clara County between the 3 offices. One thing you could do is click on results right now and look at them. Here they all are. And if you click on them, if you just start by clicking on number 1, I would become very familiar. Now this one says it's a boathouse. Where is that? Evergreen. All right, they must have it in the Villages. All right, now I can just tell from looking around the room that nobody here is old enough to get access through the front gate at the Villages. That's what I'm saying. So they don't let me in either. So if you scroll down, David Tofty is the listing agent. He's at our Gateway office. And you could call him up. Now, other things that I would look at is over here, owner information occupied by owner. And there's a gate code and the owner's name. So you could call David up and say, hey, do you ever need any help doing an open house? Right? If you click on next, it'll show you the next listing that we have, which is in Alum Rock. And Lionel Madamba, which is from this office, has that listing. And again, one of the things that I would always look at is look at and see is who's occupying it. What you're hoping for is one that's vacant, right? Because then they don't care what you do, right? So you get the idea as you go through here. You look at each one of the listings and look at April Young, who's from our Santa Cruz office, that oftentimes has listings over here. This one is in Cambrian. Now, apparently, I'm only doing actives. It hasn't been reported as sold. And so, so one of the things you might want to do is call all the listing agents and ask them, do you ever need help with an open house? All right. Now, there's Kimberly, and sometimes they're going to say, I'm doing my own open houses. I don't need help with the open house. But what I would also suggest that you think about doing is doing open, asking if they're open for you to do an open house on other days. Now, I realize that we would all rather do the best open house and the nicest, one of the agents, God bless her, no longer with us. And I don't mean she died, but is no longer with us. I can remember having this conversation, and she posted on our website that she's interested in doing open houses in certain areas only. Now, just from a point of view, I'll say, and one of the things that irks me, it's difficult for me to share things that irks me as a coach, is when I see Mona sending out an email or somebody posting our KW website that they're looking for an agent to do an open house. And the part of that bothers me is why aren't the 40 people I'm coaching hounding the listing agent asking if they need help with an open house? Why? All right, now I understand that I shouldn't expect all 40 people to be focused and working. How about half? Why haven't they gotten 20? All right, I know half of the people being focused and working. How about a fourth? All right, I know that that's probably unrealistic. Why isn't 2 people out of the 40 calling the listing agent and saying, hey, I want to do an open house? Why should we be in a position where listing agents are hunting for people to do an open house? I don't understand it, right? 2 reasons.
Number 1, I was enrolled it.
Right.
Number 2, it's just an
so being in bold is one thing, right? But you understand this happens. No, this wasn't a personal comment about you. I'm just saying that you ought to, if you like to sell real estate, you ought to pay attention to who's got listings, reach out to them and say, hey, I'd like to do an open house, right? Yes.
I didn't respond because I didn't have business, but I'm getting a headshot done through to the data office. So, are we supposed to do this open house with someone?
We'll talk about it. I'm getting to that.
Okay.
All right. But the answer is no, you don't need to do it with somebody unless you think there's going to be 100 people. In this case, it would be good to do it with somebody because otherwise you won't have enough time to talk to any one person.
And at the class yesterday over at the Board of Real Estate, we were talking about safety issues.
Safety issues. Right. Okay. Always carry a loaded gun and point it at people until you're sure that they're safe. That's my. Well, anyhow, it's better to do. I think it's better to do an open house with a partner. And one of the reasons is, let's say somebody comes to the area and they say, this isn't the one they'd like to look at other homes. One of you could go show homes, while the other one holds the open house. Right? I've had agents that shut down the open house to go show a home, and yeah, that was my reaction too. All right. So if there's 2 of you, and you need to come to an understanding when you start that we're going to split anything we get from this open house, so that you don't feel bad letting Jennifer go show them homes while you're there babysitting your open house. Right? Then you get the idea. There's some value in that.
But you have to negotiate that.
Do that up front. Right. Make sure there's clarity. Clarity is power, right? That there's clarity as to how you're working together. So having done all this, the other thing that I want to do is I'm going to just click on results again, and I'm going to go back up here to all. And because what I want to see is the one-line display. So notice they're all highlighted, all of our listings. I don't know, maybe because it's pending now. All right, so we're going to go back to criteria. Now that we're looking at this, right, we're looking at the search. Right, we're looking at the search active, and it says SEC, because that's all, because I don't want to drive very far. And we've highlighted those 2. What we want to do is we can click on new listing over here. And if we click on results again, and we click on that button up there, so we've highlighted them all, we go to save. This will be on my YouTube channel soon. You click on save, and one of the choices is new auto email. By the way, if you go to my YouTube channel and you type in open house, you're going to find that I made this video like 5 or 6 times. 24 San Jose is my YouTube channel. All right, if I've sent you an email, there's probably a YouTube button at the bottom of it. So click on new auto email, and then up here it says contact, and Jennifer Hopkins is a contact. If when you go to your MLS and you are not a contact, put yourself in as a contact. So what Jennifer's going to do is create a search for her, and the subject is going to be new office listing. And if you want, you could type a inspirational message to yourself, like call call the listing agent and ask if they want help. And we scroll down, and we're going to change it from daily to ASAP. And when we click on save, do you already have one of these set up, Jennifer? All right, well, I'm going to save it.
Please do.
You might get two. We click on
I
save.
haven't been getting any.
Right, so we click on save. Now, what's going to happen now is that every time there's a new listing in Senator County by either one of those broker codes, she's going to, as soon as possible, get an email. Right? And so the idea is you look at the email and you find the listing agent. So by the way, at the bottom, it'll tell them their name, their phone number, and you call the listing agent up and you say, congratulations, I see you just put the property located on Furlong on the market. That's wonderful. We need any help doing an open house. Now, if the agent says, well, I'm doing open houses on the weekend for the first 2 weeks, that's what some of them will do. You could do open houses at other times. What would be another time?
Friday night.
Friday night. What would be another time?
Anytime during the week and invite the neighbors.
How about any time during the week and invite the neighbors? Now there may be less traffic during the week, but this is a belief I have, is that if you're sitting in the office, yeah. And,
Oh, sure, that's okay.
so what I believe is that if you're sitting in the office, if you're at home watching the Nature Channel, in your pajamas, the chances that someone's going to knock on your door and say, I'm interested in buying and selling a house is relatively low. Right? I'm going to go out on a limb with that. If you were doing an open house on a Wednesday afternoon, is there a chance that a neighbor is going to walk in and want to look at that? Mm-hmm. Is there a chance a buyer might walk in and want to look at that? Right? Yes. So could you make phone calls while you're at the open house to people that are in your sphere of influence? Right? And somebody might walk in. So you could be a little more, you could do an open house every day, 5 days a week. And you can improve the Nature Channel. I thank you for sharing that. All right, so is everybody with me on how to go through all of our office listings, talk to the listing agent? And by the way, just as a tip, and I have a really long video on my YouTube channel. By long, I mean more than 2 hours, me talking about how to do an open house, which is more than you ever wanted to know about how to do an open house. My suggestion is that when you're done with the open house, you immediately call the listing agent up and give them a report as to what happened. How many people came through, how many agents came through, is there anybody that seemed interested? Because what's going to happen is the owner is going to want to know that from the listing agent. And being a listing agent that had new agents doing open houses, I can tell you what it feels like when the agent does the open house and then disappears. And the seller's calling me wanting to know what happened at the open house, and I'm calling the agent who did the open house, who's not returning my phone calls, not responding to email messages. 2 or 3 days go by, the seller is still asking me every day what happened at the open house. Guess what? That agent does not do an open house for me again, right? You understand? So if you want to do an open house a second time for the listing agent, let them know what happened. All right. The other thing is that when you show up, you can have your own flyer. Now, what that means is you need to make flyers. Now, I've logged into Jennifer's KW. There are a variety of ways in which you can make flyers. So what the general rule is that when you show up, you can take out of the box in the front the listing agent flyer. You can put in yours. In the house, you don't throw them away. You hide the listing agent flyers and you put yours up. Right? Now, when you're done, what should you do? Put them back. Do you think the listing agent will be happy to find that you left your flyers in the box? No, they're not going to be happy to find that. So you want to replace your flyers with their flyers. Now, there are 3 ways. There's actually far more than 3, but there's 3 ways, and I'll throw in a 4th for a bonus, that you could make flyers, right? First of all, there's the easiest, quickest way to make a flyer, and that is you go into the MLS and you pick out a listing, and you just pick out, let's say, Fleming. You pick out a listing, And one of the choices is called a client page, right? And with a client page, it looks like this. Notice it doesn't have the listing agent's name and phone number on it. And you could print that page out, and notice it has all the details about the property. Print it out, and you could either staple your business card to it, or on the one you printed out, put your business card at the bottom and go to the copy machine and make copies of it. Right? How long would this take? Not very long, right? And so now you have a piece of paper that you can give to people. It's not the prettiest thing in the world, but you can give it to them and get your contact information, and it's got pretty much everything they want to know about the property. Option number 2, now I'm going to use this one, is you go into eEdge. And what I'm doing is I'm copying the MLS number. I'm going to go into eEdge, and I'm going to go to My Marketing, and I'm going to click on the plus sign, and I'm going to go Create Marketing Material. Now, Jennifer has Market Leader Pro, which means she has access to more templates than you do, but I'm going to use one that you could use too. And what we're going to do is over here it says Market Listings, one of them is Flyers. So I'm clicking on that. And I'm going to pick one. This one, for example, she's got more templates than you have, but that's not a big deal. These, for example, right here, property 1, 2, and 3 are flyer templates you have. You'll notice that the distinguishing difference is they have more pictures and some have less. You can modify the number of pictures that are showing, but to be easy, I would look at the listing and say, does this listing have a lot of good pictures or not so much? Right? There are some listings that don't have. I've had listings where I did not want to take more than a picture of the front, because showing people what it looked like inside would only discourage them from looking at it. I'm not right. So more pictures was not a good thing. So you might want to look at it. Let's pick. How about this one here, property number 1? Right. I don't know what the difference are between this property number 1 and that property number 1. I don't really care. We're going to click on property number 1. And so what eEdge will do with a little bit of tweaking is it'll make you a personalized open house flyer. And we're waiting for it to, we're waiting. All right. And what happens is there, but it's not. All right. So notice it says choose a listing, enter the MLS number or street address. You already see that? Mm-hmm. So I'm putting in the MLS number, which I copied, and notice it found the listing. Now this only works with Keller Williams, Silicon Valley of the Campbell variety, does not work with Senators. Does not work with Gateway, right? Because even though we share brokers, we have different. In the MLS, it's true that Gateway and Campbell have the same broker code, but we have different branch numbers. This one, I believe, must be one of ours. I think so. Is that who's running? Who has the phone with me? So let me just. This is the new MLS. Lionel, right? He's one of us. So here it is. Now notice what it's done. It's already picked out pictures. It's also moved in a bunch of information, right? Basically, it's taken whatever the comments were and it's stuck it in there. And you need to look at it because some of this is not perfect. But notice it's got, like for example, and I sometimes it printed out, but it's picked out pictures already. Right now, if you say, well, I don't like those pictures, I want to select other pictures, how would I do that? Well, you go up here, and if you look at here, there's a open all, and it's going to show you all of the pictures. So you can right-click on one and click on Save Image As, and you could save that picture on your hard drive, and we'll place the pictures on the flyer. Right? That's what I don't really think it's that important because people that you're handing it to are standing inside the house. Right? You understand? But if you don't like, because there are people that are saying, I don't like those pictures. How can I pick other pictures? Download the pictures you want, and then you can change them. Right? How would you change them? Let's say you don't like the picture of the piano because you just don't like piano. right? If you click on here, there's a button that says replace image. So you've downloaded the picture that you like better than the piano picture. You click on replace image, you upload that picture, and you replace the picture. Right? If you don't like that one, because you like the front of the house, you don't like that one. So let me just, I'll do this just for one. I'm going to say FLENG, front. And we're going to go up here to the desktop so I can find it, and I'm going to click on save. I'm going to go back, and I don't like, that's agents call me, it's a terrible picture, you know, like I personally chose it, right? And we're going to click on browse. By the way, there are a lot of his Fleming's front. We click on open, and there we have changed the front picture. Now, we might want to say, let's say we were going to hand this out, we're going to say, we could say Jennifer Hopkins Presents, we could say open house, Saturday, Sunday, Sunday, we could put in the date. I'm not going to date, we could put in the time, and we could make this bigger. We could make it fill up all that space here. And you understand, you could say open house Saturday, whatever the next Saturday is, Sunday, whatever the Sunday is, one before. You could make that. And this little box, these little guys here, you could move it around and make it bigger and do stuff like that. You can, I don't know why it's not letting me do that, but we could, you understand, we could put in more information and move it around and resize it and stuff like that. So, now, and then you want to look at this. This just says San Jose, 123 Fleming Avenue. And so if you want to, you could move it around. You could come up with a slogan about the property. How would we find some sort of a slogan? Well, if we go back here, what did the agent say? Well-kept home, 4 bedrooms, gleaming hardwood floors. So you could pick something out, like, how about just something like that? You could just take that, copy it, go here, and when we paste something in, sometimes it asks, are you sure? And we could gleaming hardwood floor.
And I'm just going to take you home for this. No. I can do all this.
Well, this is you could, I started with, you print out the client printout and attach your business card.
It's all this on your YouTube, right?
Yes, I'm recording this right now. Plus, there's videos of me doing this, right? And if when you're new, if you would like some help, one of the values of having me have your login, I'll make one for you at the beginning. So if you look at this, so let's look at this text over here, right? And part of the problem is it's hard to read, and there's not much I can do about that. So year built, number of stories. If there's something we don't want to say, we could just take off number of stories, and we just delete it.
The system doesn't allow you to increase the font size?
Sure it does.
Oh, okay.
So let's remove stuff. It's got public water. Of course it does. All right. Cooling, none. Central forced air, bedrooms and baths. So let's say you could change this. You go up here and you increase the font size. And you go up here and you increase the font size until you're happy.
Okay.
All right. Now, you don't have to do a lot. Now, this, by the way, the easiest thing to do is take the seed print, the client printout. The seed printout is what we used to call it in the old days. The client printout, attach your business card, and that's really easy. Number 2, you take the listing agent's flyers and attach your business card. Right? There's a danger in that. Now, some of the listing agents will not double in the transaction. Some will. I did. So you might not want to give people mine. I'm not active, you don't have to worry about it. We may not, right? And if I had known that you had met them at the open house, I wouldn't have the offer. But you understand that that some agencies, they take the listing agent's flyer, attach their business cards, and say that person just represents the seller. I represent buyers on this property. That's easy number 2. Right? You understand client printout doesn't have, it has a listing agent's name, but doesn't have their phone number, contact information, email, and website. Right? So attaching a business card, we're going from really easy, right, to this, by the way, is easier than the last alternative, right? It's easier than the last alternative because it's already put in a bunch of stuff for us, and right now we have a flyer. We can go to File, Save As, name it, Open House on Fleming, save it, and we now have a flyer that we can print out. And the value of this template is it already has all of our contact information at the bottom, and there's email, there's a website, there's all that sort of stuff. It looks better than the client print out with our business card on it. Okay? So I'll call this funding check. We can delete them later. And so once we've saved it, we go to exit the editor, yes, and what it's now going to do is give us an option of downloading it as a PDF, which would mean that we could print from it. We could order printing for only 25 cents each, color. Now, our printer costs 22.5 or 23, so it's whatever. But I would just download it as a PDF, and I don't think there's anything wrong with a black and white flyer. A lot cheaper. By the way, Keller Williams has a discount with Office People, Office Max, and black and white through the Keller Williams discount is 2.5 cents. Okay. 2.5 cents. So the reason that you want a flyer, and the reason I would go to the trouble to make at least this one, is that best practice would be that you go out in the morning before the open house and you knock on 100 doors. And as people enter the door, you say, hi, my name is Mike, I'm with Keller Williams. This is just a courtesy call. We're doing an open house. We're on the corner at 57th Street. You're welcome to come and look at it. The owner, I would always say the owner's not going to be there. By the way, the owner should not be there. The owner's not going to be there, so people will come and snoop, right? If they want to, you can come and take a look at it. Here's a flyer. If they're not there, you leave the flyer on the door, 100 in the neighborhood before you open house. Right? So what other ways could you market an open house?
Well, couldn't you have, if it were particularly nice, couldn't you have like wine and cheese?
You could have wine and cheese and something like that. You could, yes, you could. Yeah, especially if you're doing it in the evening, you can do all that. The Keller Williams system, I'll show you where you can get more resources in open houses, but we have we call the 7th level open house where you do pretty much everything. Like serving refreshment. So a twilight, if it's a nice house, a twilight open house where people could come and, you could do that. You could. One of the things that I used to do is I would do 2 open houses. One of them in the morning, like let's say this is a Saturday, I would do 2 open houses, one in the morning for the neighbors, a secret open house. And that's where I would spend money on refreshment. The one in the afternoon would be for the public. And then the reason I would do 2 is so that at 10 o'clock on Saturday morning, I knew the people that were showing up there lived in the neighborhood. It's a different conversation when you're talking to somebody who lives in the neighborhood than somebody who's thinking about buying a house. Right? Or you could just do one and you can have refreshment. Go all out. One of our agents in Gilroy, Sylvia, is a great cook and bakes all sorts of stuff. She has ice cream. Sometimes I just go by her open house if I'm hungry. There's ice cream and all sorts of stuff. So is everybody with me so far?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the final thing that I would like to point out to you, and I'm going to be talking more about this, and for those of you that are technologically challenged, I'm sorry, but you're going to have to get over it at some point. And how many of you have been to a movie lately? Okay. Now, how did you find the movie that you went to? You looked it up on the phone, on an app. Which app did you use? Was it Flixster, Fandango, one of those? Right to their website. Now, my point is that one of the problems that Google has, I remember seeing an interview years ago with, actually it was a deposition of Bill Gates. And he was basically claiming that he did not have a monopoly. And his answer as to why don't you have a monopoly is there's the internet. It's coming. And it's going to take away my monopoly. And he was right. Right? You understand, if you had a choice, there are many people that would rather own Google than Microsoft. Right? If you look at their trajectory, right? And Google has a problem now. And the problem that Google is having is cell phone. And for example, I have an app called Quickster. And there's Fandango and a bunch of them. So if I'm interested in a movie, most people are using their cell phone. Right? They're using cell phones. So if I'm interested in a movie, I'm less likely to go to Google and type in movies in Campbell. I might just touch the app on the cell phone and it's going to tell me all the movies in Campbell, what the rankings are, and if my friends have reviewed them. Right? So how this relates to an open house is there's something called the mobile app, right? And Keller Williams has a mobile app. Now, if you're wondering, and and Nancy, by the way, and Cynthia, if you're new to this, I'm going to help you get here, right? But if you're logged into kw.com and you go to technology, one of the choices is KW Mobile App Resources. And so what you need to do is to download your own mobile app. Click on this, click to access your personal branded app. You should download your own mobile app. And you should practice using it. Now, up here, it shows you a screenshot. Once you've downloaded the mobile app, you could share it with somebody. There are several ways of sharing it with somebody. I'm going to click on this, and we'll see what it does. I clicked on download Jennifer's mobile app. My phone won't let me download anymore. So this takes to her page, and this is the mobile app URL, which I'm copying and I'm pasting here. So what this is, everybody has their own mobile app. Now, what does this have to do with an open house? It's kind of old-fashioned, carrying around pieces of paper. Right now, for some of us, we're used to having a paper calendar and carrying around pieces of paper. There's a generation of people that don't carry around pieces of paper. They have cell phones. And what the other thing is, back in just to relate this to how it relates to an open house, is in the old days, what I used to do in open houses is I would take all of the active and pending listings in that zip code, and I would print out information on them as a spreadsheet. And so when I'm at an open house and I'm talking to somebody that's a potential buyer and I'm going through so tell me, is this going to work for you? Are you interested in, is this the right price range? And they say, no, we're interested in the area, but this house doesn't fit. I could say, look, here's a list of all the properties in the neighborhood. And if you drive around, what you could do is drive around, see the ones that on the outside that you're interested in, mark them. The ones you want to see the inside of, and when you come back, I'll be done at 4, we'll go look at the ones you want to see. That's what I used to do. Now, the reason I included pendings is I didn't want them to ever call the listing agent. So if they see a for sale sign and they look at my list and it's not there, what are they going to do? They're going to call the listing agent to ask about the property. So I included, I would say, the pending, you can't see it. So and then I would have their age and the square footage and the bedrooms and the bathrooms, and I put in pretty much everything. Well, nowadays you can do that without printing out a bunch of pieces of paper. And it's called giving them the mobile app. So let's say I'm doing an open house and the people that walk in are not from my age group. I think my category is called traditional, but they're millennials. They're young people. And we've been trained to give them a fly. Right? There's no easy thing to do. Mm-hmm. How about to say to them, the green revolution, the digital age, paperless, the flyer is a digital flyer. Would you like a copy of it? And if they say sure, right? And then what you could do is either, if, by the way, if you took your laptop, now I've pulled up Jennifer's download page, and the site is smart enough to know that I'm not logging in from a phone, but I'm using a laptop. I could type in somebody's number here, and it would send them a link to download the mobile app. If I had Jennifer's mobile app open, like, so if you have your mobile app open, yes.
So you send them the first?
It's a link. It's a link. It's a link. Let me correct that. It's a link to the mobile app.
So I would open up my mobile app.
You'd open up your mobile app, and then you would hear there's a button that says share, app share button. You need to download. You need to download your mobile app, and you use it. You need to be good at it, right? You understand? Learning it with, you don't have a smartphone with your mobile app on it, then you give up on getting other people to use it. You're going to say, just give up. Right? Look at people when they walk in, and if they're under 30, just say, I'm sorry, I can't help you find out. I'm incapable of working with you. Right? You understand? And walk around the office and meet some young agents and get their business cards and refer them, because you're not going to. Or, this isn't that difficult. Download your own mobile app and practice with it. Share it with friends. So the conversations go like this. We have a mobile app which has all the information digitally about this property and all the other properties that are in the area. What's your cell phone number? And you type it, you hit share app, type it in, and it brings on a link, and you click on the link, and it downloads your mobile app. Now, the mobile app is GPS-based. It's very, very accurate. One of the things that makes it better than Zillow's app and some of the other apps is that it's more accurate in terms of location. When you open up that app, the property what's the station property is going to be displayed? The one they're assuming. Right? So now they have all the information about the open house in a digital format. They can save it. They can, by the way, and if you need this, that our mobile app allows them to take additional photographs of the house and store it if that is listed. They could save it. They could go back. Now, you understand there's a generation of people out there that would much rather do this than collect pieces of paper. Right? They would much, and they also can search. These are some of the screens. They can search. By the way, if they drive around the neighborhood, if one of them is driving, the other one is looking at the phone, the properties that display will change as they drive. They now have all the information about all the properties that are in the area. Because it's branded to you, if they tap on, I'd like to make an appointment to see this one, your phone should vibrate because you get a text message that you have a lead. If they save the search, it goes into the system. How can you find out how many people have downloaded your app? I wonder. See this button here? See your download report. Now, I'm going to talk more about this, but Google's problem is that people are not using computers as much as they used to. They're using smartphones. This is also for Microsoft, because most people will not go buy a laptop, right? They might buy a tablet, which is using smartphone technology, right? Some people will just buy a big phone. Right? There's a generation of people that don't use computers except in their phone. So wouldn't you want people, and by the way, there's what's called QR code, and people don't use it. You understand there's a QR code, and I'll bet I'm one of the few people sitting at the table that has a QR reader on my phone. Because they don't come with the Apple phones and they don't come with Android phones. You have to go get one and download it. This is a big pain to say to people, you have to go and download the QR code reader, and then you can shoot the QR code, and then you can download my app, and then how about just typing in their number and they have it. It should be in your email signature. It should be, you should know how to transfer it to somebody else, and you should be encouraging people that you need to give them help to download your. Right? Having said that, now the question, I handed out an open house script, but what I wanted to just do is I just wanted to, in the next and by the way, one of the things that I would recommend, Google is not dead, right? I just want to make sure you understand that. But let's say you should know that EEDGE, EEDGE is the proprietary name for the software that I was using to make the flyer. So if you were to go to Google and type in EEDGE and then hit space, and you were to type in how to make a flyer and hit enter, guess what you're going to find? How to make a flyer and email in eEdge, creating a flyer in eEdge, how to create a listing flyer with eEdge marketing materials, how to make a flyer using eEdge in less than 5 minutes. These are all videos. And the nice thing about the video is that you play the video and then you stop it and then you do what it says, and then you play the video and you stop it and you do what it says. How to make a flyer in eEdge, how to create an open house flyer using eEdge. Wow. Yeah, right. Now what people will do, and I know this is an obnoxious thing for me to do, I'm willing to admit it, is agents will send me an email. And the email will say, how do I make an open house flyer using eEdge? So send me an email that says that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy that sentence from your email. I'm going to go to Google. I'm going to paste the sentence in, and then I'm going to copy just the link to the result and email it back to you. Right? Now there's some agents that have done this like 10 times before it finally sunk in, that rather than sending me an email, how do I find clip art that I don't have to pay for and I can use, right? Now, what I've actually suggested to people is compose the email to me, but before you send it, copy the email and paste it into Google. And guess what happens when you ask Google, how do I find clip art that I can use without paying for? Guess what happens? They give you like 100 places you can go get clip art. So that is how to make a flyer in eEdge, right? And so whether or not you can, and by the way, some of these videos, if you keep looking, are mine. But in my YouTube channel, it's called 24 San Jose. But if you just ask, right, you just need to know that eEdge is the software. All right. So open houses. One of the things I just want to cover, if you go, we're back in kw.com, and the button here that says Education and KW Connect. Part of what I want people to do is acquire their own streams. And if you go to agents, what you're going to see is, how about this? Here's something. It says how to hold an effective open house. Isn't that interesting? By the way, if we went up here to search, we could type in open house and hit enter, just to see what we get. Hold an effective open house, 4 steps to open house success plan, building your brand with successful open houses, 7, there's no reason to sell a dirty house, power session number 3, open houses. All right, open house network, capture leads at your open house. And if you were to go to my YouTube channel, and again, when I send people emails, there's a link to it. But if you go to YouTube, now I shouldn't have signed in. It just makes it too easy. But if I go to, here's a different. I'm not signed in here. Okay? I'm not signed in. You go to YouTube, and so I'm not signed in. You go to YouTube, and my channel is 24 San Jose. All right? Don't ask me why I have that, but I do. Now, can you guess which of these channels is mine from that search? Yeah, using the football player. No. So you can click on my name, or you can click on channel. And what you're going to see is this. And if you click on videos, you're going to see all the videos I've made. Plus, notice there's this little guy here. If you click on that, it allows you to search my channel. You can search, by the way, everybody's videos. But if you search my videos and you type in open house, what you're going to find is how to find an open house, getting people at an open house to use your KW mobile app. Now that one, I've just given you a better one. Ignite Power Session 3 And although I made this in 2012, open houses haven't changed very much. This is a really long, exhaustive video, and it is a long video on how to do an open house, more than you ever wanted to know about how to do an open house. So, and if you just look at my channel, you can subscribe. So if you logged in, it's not giving me the button now because I have it. Oh, here it is. You click on subscribe. If you subscribe to my YouTube channel, whenever I post a video, you'll get an email that says I posted another video. All right? And this is what is sometimes called social proof. When I go to my channel and I go to videos, by the way, let me just go back. I have 497 people who subscribe to my YouTube channel, and 26,396 views have occurred. There have been 26,396 times people have watched my videos. So there's no reason that you can't subscribe to the channel and watch videos. It's one of the reasons I record stuff so that if you go back and watch. All right, now, having said that, just let me, there's a script. If we ran out of copies, I'll print another one for $2. We're going to cover, in the next couple of weeks, we're going to be doing a working with buyers, win with buyers. Mm-hmm. Let me just give you the 2-minute, my explanation of what you should be doing while you're at an open house. Now, some of this may seem contradictory to other things you've read, but what is the purpose of an open house? To get buyers, right? So is the purpose of the open house to sell the house or hold it open? Rarely does that happen. By the way, my experience has been that about 90% of the time when somebody says, I'd like to make an offer on this house, it never goes anywhere. Over 90% of the time. And they have no commitment to you. The only reason they're talking to you is because you're sitting at the house that they're interested in. That's it. And after they've written an offer and it's not accepted, they're going to go and do another open house and talk to another agent. One of the worst things that can happen to you, I know this may sound contradictory, but one of the worst things that can happen to you when you're new is for you to be doing an open house and for somebody to write an offer on it and for it to be accepted and for you to be paid a commission. One of the worst things that could ever happen to you, because you're probably ruined for life. And all you're going to do at open houses is wait for somebody to come in and buy the house. And then you're going to be frustrated to find out that this happens once every 20 years. And you just got years out of the way. And year after year, you're going to be trying to sell the house to people, and they're not going to be buying it, and you're going to wonder what happened. And people come to me and say, I want to do open houses because somebody bought one. Right? And you understand the chances are they're not going to buy that house. So the goal is not necessarily to sell it to them, right, until we know what they want to buy. Right? The other thing is, so the goal is not to sell the house. Right? Point number one. Point number two, which also may seem contradictory, the goal is not to collect their name, their phone number, and their email address. That is not the goal. Okay? Now, people will say you need to collect their names and their phone numbers and their email if you can follow up. My experience has been, first, that the people are unlikely to give you the name, their address, and their phone number until they have a good reason to. Right? They'll give you, if you make them sign in. By the way, I reached a point where I did not ask people to sign in. I had a sign-in sheet. I used to make a joke about it. I used to say, would you mind filling out the sign-in sheet? I need to prove to the owner that I worked here. And people would laugh. But you understand why? What would they expect if they gave me their real phone number and they gave me their email address? What did they think I was going to do with it? Call them. Do they want me to call them? No. If they give me their email address, what am I going to do? Spam them. Do they want me to send them unsolicited? No. So they will put down, there's people that have actually put down people they don't like phone numbers. Right? So if you're mad at somebody, put their phone number every time. Yeah, I'll give you the phone number. Call me. Yeah, somebody else, or they'll write it in such a way that there's no way in the world you can make it out. right? There's no reason for them to give you the phone number. So the goal is not to, and by the way, my experience has been is that 90% of the time agents don't follow up with the ones they get anyhow. No, they don't. The goal of an open house is to make an appointment for people to meet you in the office and talk about the process of buying a home. That's the goal. Right? Now, the script I gave you has my best close. First of all, there's a series of questions. So when they come in, I would say to people, hi, how you doing? You know, I would ask them, are you from the neighborhood or are you out looking at houses? If they say I'm from the neighborhood, that's different because it means they live in the neighborhood. They say, yeah, we're from the neighborhood. Well, that's great. Come on, look, they're not here. You know, you have a similar model? Right? Is your home similar to this? How long have you lived here? What do you like? You know, let me know, what do you like about the neighborhood? Right? I need to, you know, talk to people about the neighborhood. What do you like? When do you plan on selling your home? How about that for a question? Right? So when do you plan on selling your home? Would you be interested in getting an idea of what your home is worth in today's market? And so that is a listing lead. If they say, no, we're out looking for, you know, we're out just looking at homes, that means they're potentially a buyer. So I always ask the same question. If you watch my video from 2012, it's the same question. I've added some more just so you could have fun with it, but I would say, that's great. What was it about this one that caught your eye? Right, which is another version of what you're looking for. Right, and then they'll say, well, we like the neighborhood, we like the school district, you know, whatever. Right, we were visiting a friend and we saw the house. Great. How long have you been looking? How many homes have you actually seen? They tell me. Really? Why haven't you bought one? Why haven't you bought one yet? And what I'm looking for is a problem with the systems that they're using to find it. Have you had a chance to talk to a lender yet and find out based upon your income, your expenses, the amount of cash you have available, how much home you can be pre-approved? They say no if they want you to. Are you serious to buy a house? Right? Are you serious? If you are, you need to do that first. Because in this market, people will not, it'll save you tens of thousands of dollars. I just said most of us aren't even going to look at the offer if you're not pre-approved. And if you're not pre-approved, then you're going to have to offer tens of thousands of dollars more than somebody that is in order to get the sellers to work with. So that's something you got to do. So do you currently lease or do you own? Now, I have to admit, when I was selling, there are people today buying $1 million homes that are rented. People, there are. So I would ask, do you currently lease or do you own? If they say we own, I would say, great. Are you going to need to sell the house that you own in order to buy the one you're looking for? If they say, yeah, we're going to have to sell it, would you be interested in finding out how much you're likely to net from the sale of your existing home? This is the beginning of the listing appointment. If they say we rent, that's great. Are you on a month-to-month or a fixed-term lease? Well, you know, if they say, well, we're in a, now they could, in this market, get out of the lease because somebody will rent it. But yeah, so I would ask them, are you working with a broker yet? If they say several, that means no. Right? Several means no. They're not working with a broker yet. And then my closing question, which is on the bottom of this, was, has anybody ever shared with you how to get a good deal in buying a home in today's market? In some places on the front or the back of it. Some places. Top of it. Right. Has anybody, and so I would ask people, are you looking to negotiate the best deal possible? Are you looking to get a good deal? They say yes. Well, in order to get a good deal, you need to have a strategy. In this market, you need a strategy just to buy anything, let alone to negotiate a good deal. Has anyone ever shared with you the strategy for getting a good deal and buying a home in the market like today? And they say, no, why don't we do that first? Come into the office, and we can discuss home buying strategy. Now, when they say yes to that, and I'm putting them in my calendar, is it now appropriate for me to ask their name? Right? I'm putting them in my calendar. How about phone number, just in case? And an email address so I can send you some preliminary information to review before you get there so we can save time when we're at the meeting. How about that? So now that they've agreed to have an appointment with me, they're going to tell me their name and their email address and their phone number. Right? That's the goal, right? We would want to find a buyer. The goal is, we don't know if they're a buyer yet. They might be bankrupt, unemployed arsonists. But, no one's going to make them a loan. We don't know that. But the goal of the open house is to get an appointment. That's the goal. And I have a 2-hour version of this. Which is, and by the way, you can find, I'm not the only person that's put, how about Keller Williams? Does anyone know? In April, we're going to be starting up Ignite again, right? But, and I just gave it away. Does everybody know it's called Ignite is our training? Now, I'm not the only one that's done this. If you were to go to, I just typed in Keller Williams Ignite training, and I'm going to click on videos. And I know that Ignite is really long, so I'm going to click on long videos. What you're going to find is, this one is, there's, some of these are mine. Some of them are other market centers as well. There's, I believe I was the first one to actually start putting Ignite lessons. I have the entire Ignite series on my YouTube channel, but down in Southern California, there's another market center who records their Ignite classes and put them on YouTube as well. Why not? Right? So if you wanted to, and if we just said Ignite training, how about this? Open house. Ignite open houses. October, this is Tessa Sims. They're down in Southern California. 97 minutes of somebody else talking about open houses. Here's another Keller Williams training, Master Open Houses, Ignite Quick Start, Open House Real Estate System. Okay, here, and mine, here's my, one of my videos on open houses, a short 65-minute video I made in 2013. Okay. So resources are, there are a lot of resources, all right? And what you ought to do is you're going to pick probably a handful of ways in which you're going to do business. For most new agents, it's sphere of influence, it's open houses, and perhaps farming. And those are the three, what I've learned, ways most new agents are going to do business. Sphere of influence is open houses, and maybe farming. So I would become good. You don't have to be good at everything. You don't have to do everything. But this would be one of them. All right?
Did you cover ways to do flyers? Did you cover?
The third one is the Michael Lewis Marketing Suite. And the Michael Lewis Marketing Suite makes better looking flyers. Now, I have a website called Do the One Thing. And one of the things that, and I'm adding more stuff to this, I post articles here. 10 Reasons 2015 Will Rock for Real Estate. I posted that. I post articles here. One of the things that I've included is a link, Michael Lewis Marketing Suite. And if you click on it, one of the things you're going to find is a Michael Lewis Marketing Suite, door hangers, jumbo postcards, and flyers. This is on, Michael Lewis Marketing has their own YouTube channel.
No, I mean, do the one.
No, this is just a website.
Okay.
But how about this? Michael Lewis Marketing Suite has their own YouTube channel. Guess where I got all these videos from? I got it from their YouTube channel. The other thing that I've been doing every week when I send an email out, every week Michael Lewis Marketing has a webinar on how to use their system. Every week they hold a webinar. And when I send an email to everybody that's in the coaching system, I include a link to the webinar. And they make nicer looking flyers. They do make nicer looking flyers. But there's no reason, the flyer should not get in the way of the regular print out, the seat print out, the business cards. Most people don't care how, they're not interested in how fancy they're interested in information about the property. If you really want to add value, learn how to share your mobile app, right? Because there are a lot of people, even old people like me, mobile apps. Right? Okay. Next week we're doing Win with Sellers on Monday and Wednesday. And then after that, I don't know what days we're doing Win with Buyers. This is what we do in between these night sessions. You ought to go to those sessions. You ought to.